It's just a great honor to be here and to represent you in this way, to be able to have some dialogue. This is really my chance to listen to you. I'll talk a little bit here at the beginning, and then I'm going to shut up and let y'all talk and ask questions, and we'll answer as many questions as we can until our time runs out. The only ground rules is that we will have civil dialogue and civil discourse. We'll be civil with one another. We will may argue about some things, may debate some things, but we'll do that in a cordial, civil way. And I think that's the way that government should work. I think one of the greatest problems with America, one of the greatest challenges we face is political incivility. I think that's a real challenge these days, that we can't get together and debate things sometimes and argue about things and still be friends on the backside of those things. And I think there are many of us in this room that will think differently about issues. We'll have different opinions on those issues. Some things we'll agree to disagree on by the time the night is over, and other things we'll learn from each other. And that's part of the process as well. Our Constitution starts with we the people, not we the government. And I think that's real important. The government is yours. It's not mine. I'm not here as the representative of the government, as the sole representative. You're part of the government too. And especially in state politics, where that really holds so much more true than national politics, where you can walk downtown Raleigh, drive downtown Raleigh, and walk in the doors of Senator Barefoot, and he'll sit there and listen to what you have to say. And that may sway or persuade him to vote your way. And you may be able to have that kind of dialogue. You can't do that in D.C. Most countries in the world, you can't do that. But we can do that here in America. We can do that in North Carolina. And I believe we impact our country really the most at the state level. All politics is local. You've probably heard that a million times. And the hardest job in the world is the local school board, if you're in politics. Local school board is as tough as it gets. And then you work your way up to state politics and federal politics. Federal politics, you're very distant from the people. And so here we have this opportunity to chat and dialogue and to have some discourse. So we'll do that tonight, and we'll hopefully all be worn out at the end of the night and maybe learn from each other in the process. Obviously, there are a lot of things that happened this session. As the president of the Senate, I get to serve with Chad Barefoot every day. I preside over the Senate. I don't get a vote unless there's a tie. There weren't any ties this year, but if there's some tie, then I do get to cast a vote in the tie. Otherwise, I preside over the Senate. I sit up on the State Board of Education as a voting member of the State Board of Education, on the North Carolina Board of Community Colleges. I sit on the North Carolina Board of Economic Development. I'm the chair of the E-Learning Commission. I'm the chairman of the newly formed Energy Policy Council, so we're taking on a lot of energy issues coming up. And sit on Military Affairs Commission. So really the big issues for me are employment, for one. I call them 4 E's for me, but employment is obviously at the top of the list right now. We're still in a recession. Some things seem to be turning around, but we're still in a recession. Education is another one. That's a big topic for us right now. Energy is a big topic as well, something we'll be talking more about. And then efficiency, government efficiency. And so those are the 4 E's that I'm really most passionate about. But I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. So there are a lot of big things that happened in the General Assembly this time around. Tax reform, some people say it was the most bold and significant tax reform of any state in the country. And that's still just the beginning, I think, of what will happen through the years for tax reform. There's some markers in place to potentially continue to reduce personal income tax and corporate income tax over time to get some of the burden of taxation off of especially our small businesses, and allow them to use their money to hire people and to employ people again. That's really important. For small businesses, the top issues are, and this has been true, apparently, I speak at these NFIB roundtables, small business roundtables around the state. I did one today in Asheboro. And the top issues, and they have been for a number of years, are taxation, regulation, and healthcare. And those are, in a lot of ways, those are the top issues for people, all over the country, for no matter what you're doing. So those issues are still at the forefront. Regulatory reform continues in the legislature. It started a couple years ago, and it continues. We have some 23,000 regulations on the books in North Carolina. It's going to take a while to look at those. I believe they should all be looked at some point, see what's still relevant for our time, and they should be looked at, and we should make some decisions as to whether those things should be on the books or not. government is in the business of making regulations. All regulations aren't bad. A lot of those regulations protect us. They protect our kids in schools. They protect our business owners. They protect the environment. They protect all of it. Regulations are not bad. Excessive regulation can be bad, and it can be burdensome, and it often is. Taxation is not all bad, and we have to be taxed. The government has a role to play, and we just need to make sure the government stays in its rightful role and doesn't go beyond its bounds and beyond its limits. So government has a role. So we spend a lot of time talking about education. There's some educators in here, some folks that are passionate about education. We spend a lot of time talking about Common Core from my office and bringing up a lot of questions about the new Common Core state standards in North Carolina. So some people, you often have questions about that as well, and I'll be happy to talk about that. Photo voter ID, the election laws that were passed this time around were contentious and brought a lot of heat all over the place, and so people always want to talk about that. So there's plenty of things to talk about, and I'm sure you have plenty of things on your mind. So we'll open the floor up and